worked on in this past year since we seen you last season?
Yeah, absolutely. I need to thank my coaches, Frank Hickman, John Wood, Syndicate MMA, Mike Pyle, and Nate Pettis from Extreme, who I worked tirelessly with over details and cage work, and of course all my training partners that held me up against there and gave me that work to be victorious in this moment tonight.
Yeah. And unfortunately, the weight cut didn't go the way you wanted to. What do you think went wrong, and what do you think you can do better next time for that not to happen?
Yeah, it was a tough night. I tried till the very last few minutes, and yeah, my body just stopped producing and shut down, and yeah, it was a rough night. The first flush came off great, and then yeah, I stopped producing sweat, and even after that we were trying until the bitter end. And look, unfortunately this one will be tarnished by that because I did miss weight, and you know, the consequences of that take on the chin, so to speak, because yeah, it's not acceptable.
Congratulations on the win. So you came as the underdog on this fight. A lot of people were quoting Julia over you, like even in the betting odds. We see that you connect her multiple times and she crumbled a little bit. Were you surprised on how much she crumbled in second and third round with your punches?
Not really. I knew I was a better striker. I knew that I had a lot more pop and range on her, and if I established and used that correctly, that I would have the advantage in that area. It was just a matter of me being disciplined. I knew that, but she's, you know, an ex-world champion, fought the best in the world. She's a tough opponent. That was a tough fight, you know. I knew it would probably go the distance, just because she's so seasoned. This is my 6th MMA fight, and to face someone of her caliber is and to come out victorious is a big moment for me.
At the press conference, I asked you how much you learned from Kayla Harrison fight, beating Julia, one of the best female fighters. How much you learned in that fight?
Against Julia?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I'll have to, you know, let it digest and go back and watch the tape and see moments where I did, where I was successful and I made improvements and advancements since that last fight, and then also things to know and work on for next time. I already know some things, like don't get there in the first place if I don't want to be there. I know I can hang there, and I've got the tools to turn people off and defensively get out of those positions. So that's a big plus and things that I worked on from that since that fight with Kayla. But yeah, no, we'll go back, my coaches and I, and we'll assess and game plan and just, you know, elevate and tighten things up for next fight.
Congrats, Genah. Is this a bittersweet victory for you because you missed weight?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, like I said, the win will be tarnished by the fact that I miss weight, and that's just not acceptable and something I'm not proud of. And I'm really fortunate to the PFL that they were amazing in pushing this fight to still happen today, as well as my opponent Julia. I really want to thank her for still accepting to fight me today, because I could have lost out big time by not being able to fight tonight. So,
was there anything that you were surprised in the ring with her?
No. She was what I thought. It's exactly what I thought she'd be. She's gritty, she's tough. I knew that she would try to stand only to lull me in, to try to get me to the cage. That's where she likes to be, in her corner, up against the cage, listening to her coaches and pointing off and trying to take down from there. I just had to really hold patient, really hold my position, to then get off and pick my moments. It wasn't going to be an easy fight for me on the cage, because that's where she typically likes to be and get her opponents. So I had to find patience and hold through the fire to successfully stop her from doing what she wanted to do.
Genah, congrats on the win again tonight. We talked a little bit earlier this week about the difference in experience between yourself and Julia, and just kind of the steps that you took mentally and physically to get to this point. How does it feel getting this win tonight over an experienced fighter, and where does that say in terms of where you are at in your development?
Yeah, probably the biggest win of my career so far. 6 fights in, my 6th fight against Julia Budd, ex-world Bellator champion, fought Cyborg, fought Ronda, fought Amanda, and many other names, Arlene Blanco, all those girls in Bellator and Strikeforce. So, this is something that, a win that means a lot to me to get over her. Amazing opponent, amazing pioneer and fighter. So, to share the cage with her is a great experience for me. So what you said?
Oh, just in terms of your development, what does that say in terms of where you're at?
Yeah, I'm only elevating and growing, but I said earlier in the week that that loss against Kayla only elevated me and motivated me and drove me to level up and put myself in those gritty, ugly positions where I don't want to be, or not even don't want to be, but I have lack of experience compared to these girls. They're majority grapplers with grappling backgrounds, heavy grappling backgrounds, so they're great at what they do. It only forced me to get better, and I will never ever say no to a fight. Lack of experience or not, I'll always face whoever they give me, and that was the case tonight. First round, Julia Budd. All right, let's go, and prepared accordingly. But before we even got the name, 2 months ago, whenever it was, I was putting in the work since that last fight against Kayla. I flew back Friday, I was in the gym Monday and have not stopped. And I've taken, since that time, I've not wasted this time and developing my game and getting better and leveling up my grappling and more work. So a lot of that showed tonight, thankfully.
Awesome, congrats.
And Genah, from a mental perspective, even though you didn't get the victory over Kayla Harrison, you have opened Pandora's box in that sense, where you faced her. Now you got the W over what a lot of people looked at as the number 2 seed coming into the season. From a mental perspective, how does that feed you going into this season, knowing that you have faced the best of the best in the PFL?
Yeah, and that's why I relished in it, because I was like, all right, they've given me Julia, hardest fight in the first round, I believe, hardest matchup, and I was like, let's go, we're deep in this, give it to me now. And I mentioned earlier on the week, a good friend, someone of mine said, just when you're afraid to jump, that's the time you should jump. And that's exactly what, when I found out it was Julia, I was like, we're doing it, let's go. First round, let's kick it off. I don't want to wait till the semis, wait to the finals or whatever to face that caliber of opponent. I was straight in there, and just happy with the result.
Congratulations.
Genah, congratulations. 2 quick ones here. One is, so coming in, you only have 6 professional fights compared to 19. Coming in as a slight betting underdog. Did that play into you? Did that bother you at all going in, or is that just out of sight, out of mind?
Yeah, out of sight, out of mind. Honestly, is how I approach it, because what can I do about it except for prepare accordingly and believe in myself and believe in my team and believe in the work I put in. And I had to keep reminding myself of that. It's just you have been training with some of the best. You're coached by some of the best. I believe in my team. I believe in the work that they put into me, the work I produce. So I had to remind myself of that. You've been here. You're training with men and women that are just as strong, just better than that. So you've been in these positions, believe in that, believe in the work, and believe in myself. Numbers and stats and things like that, of course, play a part, but they kind of feed you. So that's how I approached it.
Nice. And so just talking a little bit about the fight. So Julia was able to get a takedown there in the first, and after that you stuffed one in the second and never again. Did that give you a big vote of confidence, being able to stuff that takedown in the second and implement your game plan the rest of the way?
Yeah, and I could feel the slump, when you, and it was a gritty little moment. It's not like I popped straight away. She was on me and she was pressuring me forward, and thankfully got to the cage and was able to get some wrist control and get my leg back on that cage to work my way up and reverse her. So I had to fight through a bit of grit to reverse that one, and I knew once I did that, okay, she's not going to want to be that took a lot out of her, and when we stood up I could feel it and I could see it, and I think I got a few off. on the strike. So that's when I knew, okay, if it goes here again, I'm good. And it probably won't, because it took a lot out of her. So it was a big confidence booster.
Good, excellent performance. Thank you.
Thank you.
Genah, going forward, obviously the weight miss affects you in the standings, and given the format of the season, is that going to have to change your approach going forward? You know, more urgency to get a finish to kind of make up for the weight miss today?
Yeah, it's gonna have to, yeah. That's the way the cookie's gonna crumble for me. So, I messed up, and I have to take accountability for that error. And the second one has to be a good one for me to advance and get into the playoffs, which is all I'm going for this year.
Scale of 1 to 10, how would you grade your performance tonight?
I am going to have to go back and watch it. I know there's so much more in me, but the first one was like beat Julia Budd. Beat Julia Budd. Stop her in a game, which I did. I felt like I did, but there would definitely be things to take from it and to advance, and that I'll be able to be a lot more, have a lot more juice and confidence going into the second one for sure. But the mission was accomplished in the cage tonight for sure.
Hey Genah, Eugene has a reputation for developing some of the best strikers in the world. Tell us a little bit what it's like to work with someone with that pedigree.
Yeah, we call him the evil genius for sure. He ciphers down game plans and opponents to a T, him and our coaching team. It's not just him, he's got a whole team behind him, and they work tirelessly in what they study for us, and then they make sure our training and our training partners are suited to that upcoming opponent or fight. So we leave it in the hands of them, and we trust them, fully. We just they don't really get us to watch too much tape and things like that. We leave it in their hands, and all they want us to do is show up and do the work, and they put us through it. His approach is physical and mental warfare, so that there's no surprises or no shocks or no feelings of anxiety when we get in there, and the rest is up to us. But I know a lot of people say this about their coaches and team, but we truly have the best leaders in the world behind us. So I'm just fortunate to be a part of that.
Thank you.
Genah, on Wednesday you basically said that beating Kayla Harrison is the most important thing to you. Does that make it tough for you to prepare for a fighter like Julia Budd?
No, it helps because they're kind of similar in a lot of aspects. Obviously, they've got some slightly different skill sets, but she to me is on the same caliber as Kayla, and having gone up against her last year, to hopefully being able to get my chance at facing her again will be something I'll be that much more prepared for. So that's the goal, to meet her again and beat her. So, yeah.
I'm sure you've put months and months of work in your grappling. Do you feel like you evolved even more today, being in there with Julia Budd?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Like, all credit to Julia. She's an amazing opponent, and to get that win and stop her game and shut that down tonight is a big confidence booster in my game for sure.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Genah, like you mentioned, only a few select people that beat Julia Budd, Ronda Rousey, Amanda Nunes. Looking a little bit long term, where do you want to leave your legacy as far as women's mixed martial arts?
I want to be the best 155er in the world and win this PFL tournament this year, and that is my goal for this year, and I'm not looking past that. I actually have a love and developed a love for boxing as well, so that is something I want to pursue. At some point after MMA, it's just an itch I want to scratch, and I really love the sweet science and have developed a big love for it. So it's something I want to endeavour to do also, but to be the PFL 155 Women's World Champion this year is it.
Any mixed rules matches with Clarissa Shields maybe set up for the future?
Yeah,
Boxing,
maybe. She's best women's boxer in the world. That's a tough order. won't disrespect her and saying I'm there yet in terms of boxing, but we'll see where her MMA is and if she's going to step in with any of us. I would love to fight her. Nothing but respect for her, but yeah, I'll take that challenge against anyone.
Awesome.
Eagle on the track.
Thank you.